Hello everyone and welcome to my YouTube channel. In today's session, we will learn about fire and life safety awareness in accordance with NFPA 101. Before dives into today's session, let me introduce myself. I am Kashif Rana, Certified Fire Protection Specialist and Certified Fire Inspector from NFPA. I have some more certification like International Diploma in Safety Engineering, NIBOSH IGC, Level 3 awards in delivering training. Academically, I am Bachelor of Technology in Electronics Engineering and Master of Business Administration with dual specialization in Human Resources Management and Marketing. With over 17 years of experience in the field of fire protection and life safety with reputable multinational and government organizations across Pakistan. My core mission is to improve workplace safety by implementing NFPA standards. If you are passionate about improving fire protection and life safety system at your workplace, then you are in the right place. Let's move on to today's session. Here are some topics we will discuss one by one, and you will learn how they are interconnected with each another. First of all, classification of occupancy. Occupancies are categorized based on the building's intended use and the characteristic of its occupants. Each occupancy type has unique requirements. Some are main classifications are here, like assembly, educational, daycare, and so many. We will learn one by one. Like if any occupancy used for the 50 or more people at a time for the entertainment, worship, or dining purposes, that occupancy is called assembly occupancy. If any occupancy up to 12th grade with the equal or greater than 6 people at once, that is comes under the educational occupancy. Same like business occupancy consists of offices, banks, professional services, and industrial occupancy consists of manufacturing and processing plants. Warehousing and storage of goods comes under storage occupancy. If occupancies are mixed, then the most stringent requirements may apply unless fire barriers separate them. There is the required separation between different occupancies. We'll discuss one occupancy just for example or more understanding. Like business occupancy required fire separation from assembly occupancy. If there is a equal or less than 300, then it is required 1 hour fire separation. And if there is educational occupancy just beside the business occupancy, then it requires 2 hour fire separation. Same like for the industrial general purpose occupancy, if it requires fire separation from assembly occupancy for 2 hours. And for the educational occupancy, industrial occupancy requires 3 hour fire separation. Hazard of contents. Hazard levels are defined to assess fire and smoke risk based on their hazard contents. Like low hazard, low fuel load, and low combustibility comes under the low hazard category, like offices. Ordinary hazard, like moderate quantity and combustibility of fuel, like schools and residents, it comes under the ordinary hazard categories. High hazard, high quantity or highly combustible or explosive material, that comes under high hazard category. The hazard classification affects requirements for fire barrier, sprinkler system, and egress design. Means of egress. Continuous unobstructed path from any point to a public way, that is called means of egress. It has three components: exit access, exit, and exit discharge. What is exit access? From occupied space to an exit area, that is exit access. A protected path with a fire rated stairwells and horizontal exit, that is exit. From exit to public way, that is exit discharge. What are the key design elements for means of egress? That is fire resistance rating. It requires 1 to 2 hours fire resistance rating, depends on number of stories of the building. Minimum headroom requirement, it requires 7.6 feet high with a projection of 6.8 feet clear width for the headroom area. For doors, it should be swing in the direction of egress if there are equal or more than 50 occupants. What are the occupant load? Occupant load is number of people for whom means of egress are provided. We can calculate with this formula. Occupant load is equal to area of space and occupant load factor. The occupant load factor is constant and defined in NFPA 101. The table is mentioned over here. This is the occupant load, which is already defined in the NFPA 101 table 7.3.1.2. The different occupancy has a different occupant load factor. Here are some occupant load factors. For more clarity, we will discuss an example in the later slides. This is the capacity factor, the egress capacity. For stairs, it is 0.3 inches, 7.6 mm per person. And for door, corridors, and ramps, it is 5 mm per person. How egress required width is calculated is equal to occupant load into capacity factor. For more clarity, here is the example. For business occupancy, if the area is 20,000 square feet, the constant load factor for the business occupancy is 100 square feet per person. How we can calculate? First, we will calculate the occupant load factor, and then by multiplying with the egress factor, we can acquire the exit width. So for occupant load factor is equal to the covered area and the load factor. The covered area is in this case 20,000 square feet, and occupant load factor is 100 for the business occupancy. So occupant load is 200 person. So egress width, but we have already mentioned that for stairs it is 0.3 inches per person, and for door it is 0.2 inches. So with the occupant load of 200 multiplied by 0.3 is equal to 60 inches is equal to 5 feet. For 200 occupant load, the door width, how we can calculate? 200 into 0.2 is equal to 40 inches is equal to 3.33 feet. How we can distribute egress width? It ensure the total required egress width is distributed among available components such as exit doors, corridors, staircases. Apply minimum width for doors, clear width not less than 32. It is also mentioned in the NFPA 101. And for stairs, the minimum width is 44 inches. It is accepted 36 inches allowed or only where occupant load is less than 50. Make sure width is measured clear of obstruction like hardware and handrails. Exit requirements. If there are less than 500 persons, then the requirements of exit is 2. If there are more than 500 and till 999, then the floor exit requirements exceed to 3 exits. Equal or more than 1,000 occupant load, that floor requires 4 exits. There is another important topic, travel distance. Travel distance, the travel distance is the actual walking distance an occupant must travel from one point within a building to the nearest exit access or exit discharge, proved unobstructed and continuous path of egress travel. Travel distance varies by occupancy type and building fire safety arrangements. Like if there is a sprinkler building, the travel distance exceeds, for example, for the business occupancy or non-sprinkled area is equal to 60 meter. Max limit is 200 feet, 61 meter. If there is a sprinkler building with the same occupancy, like if the business occupancy is sprinkler, then it exceeds to 91 meter. Another important factor for the travel distance is dead-end corridor. A dead-end corridor occurs when an occupant can only move in one direction to reach an exit access. NFPA 101 limits the dead-end general limits is 6.1 meter. But if in the sprinkler building, it extends to 50 feet, that is equal to 15 meter. Common path travel, the portion of egress route where occupant must travel before having a choice of two separate and distinct paths to different exit. NFPA 101 limits it 7.75 feet. It is equal to 22.9 meter. If there is a sprinkler building, then it is 100 feet. There is another important topic like emergency lighting and exit signage. Emergency lighting is required on floor when it is occupied. especially at the time of power failure. It requires 1-foot candle minimum lux requirement at the floor level, must cover entire exit, access, exit, and exit discharge areas. It requires for all assemblies, all occupancies. What are the requirements? It should be automatically activates on power failure, minimum backup with 90-minute duration, and minimum 1.1 lux should be at every level of the floor. Exit signage are required, especially on the exit and where there are the change in the direction in the travel path. As the building services and fire protection equipments is an overview of the building management system. We will discuss in our later sessions that for designing, we must consider the utilities in the building like gas supplies, electrical supplies, what are the power backup, and the secondary stored energy system, ducts, and fire dampers must be protected against smoke and fire spread. We'll discuss fire alarm system interaction diagram for the building management system. It's based on 3 devices, like input devices, fire alarm control panel, and output devices. Just for understanding that the input devices initiate the signal and pass to the control panel. And while receiving the signal, the control panel directs the output devices for different functions. For more clarity, like what devices are used for the input signals, like any detection system like smoke, heat, flame, or any other detector, sprinkler flow switches, manual pull station are the input devices. It initiates the signal and passes to the fire alarm control panel. Then fire alarm control panel give instructions to audible and visual notification, emergency forces notification, emergency control functions like HVAC shutdown, door unlocking, and elevator recall. This is all about the today's session. We learn that how the people can notify and how they can safely and smartly evacuate from the floor and from the building. For more sessions, stay connected. Till then, stay blessed and stay safe. Thank you.